And I'm glad that Drake's getting the recognition he deserves. What I don't like, though, is I don't like when Spotify and Apple Music, how they're doing Drake. They're trying to put
I know, what's good with that?
They're trying to put Kendrick's music in his playlist stuff and
I've seen that.
unchart him on certain things. It's just they're pushing this. Look, Kendrick Lamar, back in the day, he has hits.
He has some tracks.
Yes.
But like, so does like Meek Mill or Big Sean. Like, Kendrick has some tracks.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if I could name I could name 10, but I don't know if I could name 20.
Can you name 5 songs off his new album?
No.
Exactly. That's my point,
Yeah.
though.
Man, let's talk about what really went down after that Kendrick versus Drake war. Because no matter how you try to spin it, Drake took a hit he wasn't ready for. This ain't the same certified lover boy version of Drake no more. It's like his whole camp been trying to duct tape his legacy together ever since Kendrick dropped Not Like Us. And now the numbers ain't lying. Even with a full rollout, even with Party Next Door next to him, Drake's latest project didn't move the way it was supposed to. You can feel it in the air. Drake's still breathing, but he ain't the king no more. The fans see it, but his loyal stans, man, they in full delusional defense mode. As soon as the numbers dropped, they were out here screaming, Drake got blackballed, like it was some courtroom drama. People on Reddit and Twitter talking wild, saying Spotify turned on him, that Kendrick paid off Apple Music, even trying to blame UMG like they got a vendetta against Drake. Bro, how you go from the golden child of the industry to thinking the whole system is out to get you? That's not a fall off, that's a full identity crisis. Let's keep it a buck. Drake ain't get blackballed. His project got every placement you could ask for. Front page on Apple Music, banners on Spotify, his name all over YouTube. He had all the infrastructure. But you know what he didn't have? Momentum. That Kendrick beef drained it all. Every slick bar he dropped, every leak, every desperate feature, it only made the L bigger. And now, when the dust settled, even his collab with Party Next Door felt like a Hail Mary. R&B Drake used to be a cheat code, but this time, it didn't spark. And then came the excuses. Drake fans been in full meltdown mode, claiming numbers don't count for R&B albums. Like that wasn't the same man who used to brag about stats every time he dropped. Now it's, we shouldn't compare this to Kendrick, or he did good for the vibe he was on. Nah, the same energy y'all had when y'all called Kendrick boring, keep that. Don't move the goalpost now that y'all king looking shaky. Y'all was popping champagne when CLB outsold Ye. Now y'all settling for mid-playlists and hoping for sympathy streams. It gets deeper though, because while Drake fans been crying about Spotify bias, Kendrick been running laps. GNX still charting. Not Like Us slid back into the top spot. And Kendrick just became the first rapper ever to hit 100 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Think about that. No massive features, no TikTok challenges, just pure heat and cultural impact. Meanwhile, Drake's out here hoping you forget the Heart Part 6 even happened. The man went from running Billboard to being a meme. But back to the project, because folks trying to downplay how weak the rollout actually was. Party Next Door's got his core fans, no doubt. But let's be real, the streets wasn't asking for this collab. It felt like Drake trying to retreat into safer territory after Kendrick cooked him. Like he said, all right, let me hit him with the R&B vibe, cool it down, But Kendrick broke that aura. I need no more soft landings. You can't go from getting hit with, you's not a colleague, you're a colonizer, to singing about heartbreak like nothing happened. The internet don't forget. And that brings us to the new reality. Drake ain't the default leader anymore. He's still big, no doubt. Still got a loyal fan base. But the cultural grip, that iron hold on the game, it's slipping. When Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, it wasn't just a diss, it was a shift. The West Coast came out, TikTok lit up, streams flooded. It wasn't hype, it was dominance. And Drake ain't had a response for that. Not musically, not culturally, not statistically. Just vibes and a handful of loyal defenders making excuses. And those defenders, they sound like the OVHO's courthouse Karens. That's what the internet calling him now. Drake fans who act like he got done dirty by the system instead of just taking an L. They the type to post fan cam edits and scream, well, actually, Drake's still richer, as if that's a bar. But guess what? money don't equal respect. And right now, the respect is shifting. The people already chose. Kendrick gave the culture a moment. Drake gave Spotify another banner. One left an impact, the other left a playlist.
I think I'm at the point now where I just want to I feel like maybe we talked about this the other day, but I feel like I'm kind of introducing the concept in my mind of a graceful exit.
Now, let's really dig into the mess, because while Drake's fans were busy writing essays about how he's still on top, Kendrick just kept racking up W after W. GNX didn't just chart, it dominated. It got that post-Super Bowl boost, stayed hot through the spring, and it's still charting better than Drake's newest drop 12 weeks later. That's unheard of in today's rap game, especially when you ain't got no big pop features or TikTok campaigns. Kendrick ain't play the industry's game. He made the industry chase him. Meanwhile, Drake's camp been trying to spin the narrative like it's R&B season. Like this ain't even meant to compete. But come on, Drake ain't never dropped nothing without the intention to dominate. That's his whole brand, certified hitmaker. And now that it ain't hitting the same, the goalpost moving fast. This was just a vibe tape. It's not a real album. He's just experimenting. Stop it. If Kendrick dropped some laid-back jazzy joint and it flopped, y'all would have called it boring and said he lost his touch. So keep that same energy. Let's talk numbers. Drake's collab with Party Next Door did fine for a regular artist. But for someone who used to break Spotify records in his sleep, it was mid. Billboard placements weren't historic. Streaming totals weren't insane. The buzz lasted a weekend. Meanwhile, Not Like Us went #1 again. Again. That means the public ran it back, reclaimed it, made it the anthem of the year twice. That's not just a hot song. That's cultural dominance. Drake hasn't done that since In My Feelings. And even that had a dance challenge carrying it. You can feel the difference now. Before, when Drake dropped, everything stopped. Radio changed. Algorithms shifted. Blogs froze. Now, the conversation ain't about what Drake did. It's about what Kendrick already did to him. That's a whole new level of damage. Even the memes hit different now. They ain't just jokes. They're reflections of reality. Drake can't post without the comments being flooded with, "You not a colleague" bars. That's legacy damage. That's the kind of wound you don't just bounce back from with a surprise EP. And the funniest part, Drake helped build this trap himself. All them years bragging about numbers, stream stats, records. Now he can't escape it. He conditioned his fans to measure success by the charts. So now that Kendrick beat him at his own game, they don't know what to say. It's about quality now. Drake makes music for the ladies. Bro, Kendrick outsold him with bars, no pop hooks, and no industry gimmicks. He made one of the most brutal diss songs of all time and had clubs playing it like it was a summer anthem. That's different, and even streaming platforms been quiet. Remember when Drake used to get full-page rollouts? Now he's still getting them, but the response ain't there. Folks see the banners, click once, and dip. The engagement ain't matching the exposure. Meanwhile, Kendrick barely promoted GNX and still broke streaming milestones. That's when you know it's over. The moment the machine's still pushing, but the streets ain't responding. Drake's still got the billboard. Kendrick's got the block. Let's also address that lawsuit situation. Drake tried to take Kendrick to court over a diss. Man, come on. That ain't hip-hop. That's desperation. You got hit with bars so bad, you tried to throw a legal flag like this a football game? Now his fans out here saying he's protecting his brand. Nah, the brand was built off being untouchable. If you gotta use lawyers to fight lyrics, you already lost. The court of public opinion already judged it. And Drake ain't winning there either. And don't forget, Kendrick ain't doing press, ain't tweeting, ain't posting gym selfies. He letting the music do the talking. Meanwhile, Drake's been throwing tantrums on the low, sneak dissing on burner accounts, and hoping his core base holds the line. But that base looking shaky. You can only gaslight your audience for so long before they realize you ain't moving like the champ no more. You moving like someone trying to remind people of the throne they already gave away. This ain't about whether Drake's still rich or still popular. It's about impact, about legacy, about who's making the moment and who's chasing it. And right now, Drake's chasing, Kendrick in cruise control, and the rest of the game following his lead. The only thing keeping Drake's name in the convo is Kendrick's shadow.
I probably won't make music for a little bit, I'm gonna be honest. I got some other things I need to do for some other people that I made promises to, but I probably won't make music for a little bit. I'm gonna be real with you. I need to focus on my health first and foremost, and I'll talk about that soon enough. Nothing crazy, but just like, I want people to be healthy in life. I've been having the craziest problems for years with my stomach. So I'm gonna lock the door in the studio for a little bit. I don't even know what a little bit is. Maybe a year or something, or maybe a little longer.
Now here's where it gets extra sad for the Drake defenders. Because even when you try to give him credit, the wins look forced now. His latest numbers? Decent, not trash, but they ain't elite. Not for a guy who once had the game in a chokehold. You used to mention Drake and Mid in the same sentence and people would clown you. Now, folks nodding like, yeah, kinda true though. That's a fall off in public perception, and no PR team can spin that. You can't fake momentum, and right now, Drake moving like he out of gas. Even industry heads started whispering it. Behind the scenes, execs watching these numbers and wondering if the Drake era done peaked. You think they ain't noticed that GNX outsold his project over a month later? You think labels ain't seeing that Kendrick don't need to flood the internet with content just to go #1? Let's be real. This ain't just about fans anymore. This is about position in the industry food chain. And for the first time in years, Drake don't look like the apex predator no more. He looked like prey. Now think about how he tried to pivot. Drake went back to the soft side, linked up with Party Next Door, did the heartbreak Drake thing, and gave fans something smooth. But timing matters. You can't sell love songs when the world's still humming, "They Not Like Us." Kendrick shook the culture. Everything else after that felt like background noise. Even if Drake's project was solid, it dropped in a moment where nobody was ready to give him grace. You can't play the vulnerable artist right after trying to throw lyrical bombs and getting smoked. That ain't how redemption works. And look at how his peers moving. J. Cole gracefully bowed out, admitted he got caught slipping. That gave him some respect back. He took the hit and walked away with his name intact. Kendrick, still standing on business, didn't flinch. And Drake, he acting like none of this happened, like we all imagined it. That's the delusion that's killing his image right now. The fans ain't dumb. We saw the beef. We saw the responses. We saw the lawsuit. You can't just drop a vibey EP and pretend we all forgot the massacre. And it's deeper than music. It's the aura. Drake used to walk in a room and own it. Now he walk in and folks looking for Kendrick memes in the comments. That energy shifted. He don't feel like the final boss anymore. He feels like the middle-level obstacle before you face the real king. And the internet reflects that. Every new Drake post, drowned in clown emojis, "You not a colleague" bars, and "not like us" comments. That's not haters. That's public consensus. That's image decay. He tried to reclaim it with those "I'm still rich" flexes, jet pics, vacation stories, chain photos. But here's the thing. Money ain't impressive when folks see through you. We know he rich. That ain't the issue. The issue is respect, cultural weight, legacy. Drake used to walk in any genre and dominate. Now he dropped, and people scroll past it like, "Hey, I'll get to it later." That's deadly for a mainstream artist. You not hated, you not loved, you invisible. And invisible is worse than irrelevant. At least irrelevant gets talked about. Drake right now, he floating in that dangerous zone where people only mention him in the context of what Kendrick did to him. That's the real L, not the streams, not the lawsuit. It's that he don't even control his own narrative anymore. Every move he makes is seen through the lens of the beef he lost. Every song judged against bars Kendrick already laid down. Every stat compared to "Not Like Us." That's a man living in someone else's shadow. Even the collabs feel hollow. Drake used to put folks on. Now he attaching himself to artists just to stay relevant. And even when the song's decent, they don't feel essential. They feel like content, just enough to keep him floating, not enough to shift the game. And that's the biggest red flag. Drake ain't been the conversation in months. He's just been a part of it, barely. And here's the last nail in the coffin. Drake's entire identity been based on dominance, on always being 5 steps ahead. He was the tastemaker, the one who made other artists orbit around him. But now that orbit's broken. Kendrick shattered it, and what we're seeing now is a man stuck in rewind, trying to remix his past glories while the future already left him behind. Drake ain't in control of the culture no more. He chasing it, studying what's popping and trying to copy it without the same magic. And that magic, it's Kendrick's now. Drake fans don't want to hear it, but that's the truth. You can't lead when your biggest cultural moments are built off sneak disses and stream padding. You can't claim the throne when your whole rollout feels like a reaction to your enemy's moves. Drake spent more time responding to Kendrick than pushing any vision of his own. And now that Kendrick gone quiet again, Drake's music just floating. No purpose, no weight, just more songs, more albums, more content, less impact. And that's why this ain't just about one beef. It's about a transition of power. Kendrick didn't just beat Drake on wax. He changed how people view the game. Lyricism matters again. Cultural relevance matters again. Artistic integrity matters again. Kendrick made it cool to care. And Drake, he's still trying to prove that numbers mean more than meaning. But fans see through it now. You can't chart your way out of disrespect. You can't vibe your way back into dominance. You gotta earn it. Drake used to drop and silence the industry. Now when he drops, folks check if Kendrick said anything. That's the shift, and his fan base, they more defensive than proud. They act like court-appointed lawyers explaining why it wasn't that bad or it's just a different style. But deep down they know, this ain't the Drake who gave us Take Care. This ain't the Drake who bodied Meek Mill and walked off smiling. This is a Drake who got exposed and ain't found a way to recover. And let's talk about legacy. That word gets thrown around a lot, but what does it mean when your peak moments get overshadowed by your biggest L? When the internet brings up Not Like Us every time your name comes on, legacy is what survives when the moment is gone. And right now, Kendrick got moments in legacy while Drake's stuck trying to patch holes in both. The man who once defined cool now looking like he begging for validation. Even Drake's tone changed. He used to sound confident, effortless, untouchable. Now he sound guarded, like he's second-guessing every bar. Like he trying not to trigger more backlash. That edge is gone. And in this game, you lose your edge, you lose your position. Kendrick took his shot, and Drake ain't respond with dominance. He responded with excuses. And the fans ain't rocking with that. Even the casual listeners picked a side, and they didn't pick Drake. So what's next? Drake could still bounce back. He got the resources, the fan base, the infrastructure, but it ain't gonna come from another playlist. Dump or surprise collab. If he want respect back, he gotta face the fire. No more games, no more sneak disses, no more lawsuits, just rap. But the question is, does he still got that in him? Or did Kendrick pull the mask off and show the world that the sixth god been human this whole time? And let's be real, the throne ain't waiting. Kendrick already sitting on it. Quiet, comfortable, respected. Meanwhile, Drake out here trying to find the beat again. That's how far we've come. From Drake runs the summer to is Drake okay? That's the power of a cultural shift. And unless he gets real about where he stands, he'll keep dropping projects that make noise, but don't leave a mark. And the longer that goes on, the louder the silence becomes. So yeah, the music's still charting, the fans still streaming, but the soul of Drake's run, that's what's missing. Kendrick took that, not with violence, not with press, just with precision, with bars, with presence, and the whole game felt it. Drake's era didn't end with a bang. It ended with a truth too loud to ignore.